Hey there, everybody. What is going on? Sean here with the Tech Gremlin Warrior. And today we are going to install WordPress on InfinityFree. And guess what? As the name implies, this is going to be a completely free way to install and use a fully functional WordPress. All right. Now, I don't mean going to WordPress.org where you can't use plugins and you can't use themes. This is completely functional. You can use plugins, you can use themes. The only caveat with InfinityFree is you've got limited resources and it could be a little sluggish. So it's not something you want to necessarily use for a business website. However, if you're wanting to learn WordPress and you want to play with WordPress and you want to be able to do it for completely free, this is how we do it. All right. Now, this is going to be a detailed video that might be a little bit longer. And unfortunately, we don't have my normal too long didn't watch. It's just going to be one of those things where if you want to learn how to install WordPress completely free and learn all the best practices, I'm going to go through checkboxes. I'm going to go through radio buttons, SSL certificates. And so when we're done, you're going to have a solid foundation of a WordPress installation, and you'll be ready to go when we're done. How cool is that? So let's jump over and get started. So we're going to go on over to InfinityFree.com. Once there, you're just going to be going into, we got a little personal data processing opt-outs. That's kind of new. Sure. Just going to click on it. Not going to worry about it. So we're going to click on register in the top right-hand corner here. Once there, it's going to be your typical registration form that you have for any thing that you do online, right? You can either sign up with Google. I prefer to just use an actual email address and password rather than signing up with Google. That's just a caveat that I have, or that's just a thing that I have. So when you go and do this, you want to put it in your password keeper. This is going to be how you log into your InfinityFree account. All right. So we will go and do that. All right, so I've got my email account. I've got my password set. I've got the checkbox for I've read and agreed to the terms of service, and we're going to click on sign up. So now it's going to go and do a verification of your email address. Again, this is all standard stuff. You're basically just going to go and you're going to click on that whole verify your email address. We'll click on that. And then we have an opt-out here. Wants to know, do not process my personal information. This is new also. And I'll go ahead and click on confirm. We're in our InfinityFree dashboard now, and we have all kinds of options here. Accounts, free SSL certificate. Now, this free SSL certificate, just a little kind of side note here. You don't even have to mess with this. If you're going the completely free way and you're going to use InfinityFree's what they call subdomains, which allows you to start off with a free domain and again, costs nothing at all. You don't even have to buy a domain name by doing it this way. And if you do it this way, you don't have to worry about this free SSL certificate option. All right. And that'll be something that down the road, it's going to look like you do, but you don't. Website builder, if we weren't using WordPress, we would go here to the website builder where you could build a website, because you can use InfinityFree for any website. We just happen to be using it for WordPress in this case. Again, if you wanted to get a domain name through them, you could. Community forum, that's going to be helpful if you ever need information and need to get out and ask some people for help. You got a community forum, you can go there and ask questions. And then, of course, you have a knowledge base. Here's the cool thing about InfinityFree. You can have 3 active accounts on your login. And what these are called hosting accounts, okay? And each one of these hosting accounts can have at least one website on them. And I say at least. If you want more than one, you can have more than one website in each one of these hosting accounts. Okay, look at these hosting accounts as a server, as a computer out in the cloud. All right, and on that server you can have your website or multiple websites, and that's what this hosting account is. Okay, now The thing to keep in mind, though, is that with this InfinityFree account, is it's got limited resources. So if you have more than one website per account, all those websites are going to be vying for those resources. All right. So again, I'd recommend just keeping it down to one site per account. And that's how we're going to set this up. So you're just going to click on this purple create an account button. And again, we have options here. You can get free paid plans if you want to, but again, the whole purpose of this video is to create a free WordPress, a fully functioning WordPress installation. All right. We're going to go over here to this free option here, and we're going to click on create now. Going through, it's confirming everything. What do we want to call this domain? All right. Okay. So here we're going to put in the Tech Gremlin Warrior. All right, now the domain extension, InfinityFree, is going to give us a handful of free subdomains that we can use. All right, again, this is the way to do it if you want things to be completely free, including your domain name. All right, I haven't spent a cent, not 1 cent on this. All right, so here's all of our options here, and you could do, hey, if your name is Joe, you could do joe.lovestoblog.com. That would be your website. Here, greatsite.net. We're going to go with that. All right. And then check availability. Evidently it's available. So at this stage here, we have an account username, and this account username is going to be automatically generated. We can't do a darn thing with it. All right. And it's not anything that we have to really be stressed about. Same thing here with the account password. They've automatically generated. If you want to see what it is, you can click on the eyeball. There's really no need to make any kind of a reference to this because all this is going to be saved in your InfinityFree dashboard for this web account. All right. You're going to have a dashboard in a minute. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And all this is going to be available and visible, and you don't need to worry about saving it anywhere to access it. All right. So I'm not even going to look at it. I don't need to. Email consent. Please select. You do have to click on this. I'm just going to put approve. Okay. Now, I'm going to go in here and click on create account. And see this account ID? That was the auto-generated account ID, the account username. That was the one that was auto-generated. Again, can't do a darn thing with it. It's creating our site now. It's going to create our hosting plan, if you will, for the Tech Gremlin Warrior .greatsite.net. All right. So here it is. I told you, you're going to have the username and password. Here it is. This is always going to be right here when you log into your InfinityFree account and go into this particular hosting account, sub account in there. All right. I know that's kind of confusing, but the main thing that you need to know is you want to save your InfinityFree username and password in your password keeper. This here for the hosting account, you don't need to worry about. All right. Now from here, what we want to do is we want to install WordPress. There's two different ways of doing this. We can either go through the control panel, and if you click into it, let's just go click into it. It's going to actually open up in another tab. This is kind of something that's going to pop up, and it almost looks like it's spam or something, right? This is totally legit. You do need to put here, I approve. You do. If you don't, right here, see this? Which if you continue with no email alerts, if you click on disapprove, it may cause you to lose your account. All right. We want to keep our account. We want to use it. So we need to approve here. So now the panel is loading. It says Vista panel at the top. It's going to look very, very similar to, and it is a C panel. All right. A lot of, and if you look at right up here in the name, it actually says C panel. All right. And a lot of a lot of web hosts use the C panel. So it's going to be very, very familiar. If you're not already familiar with it, you will get familiar with it. And in here, you can scroll down and you can go into software, And right in here, you can click on Softaculous Apps Installer. And that's where you would go to install WordPress. Let's just go in there right now. And right there is you have a WordPress installation. Now, let's go back to our main InfinityFree dashboard. And I told you there was another place, and you could just go right here, up here to Script Installer. Click on that. So, right where we need to be, here's where we have all these different platforms, if you will. All right. Again, you can use InfinityFree for more than just WordPress. Joomla is another. We're going to click on Install WordPress. So we're going to click on Install. And here's where things kind of slow down. And I'm going to do a lot more explaining. All right. Right here for the installation URL, you have a drop down. Kind of the general best practice these days is not to use www in your name. Yes, people can still use it. But for the actual install, they want you to select what you want to install or what you want to use. In this case, I would use the HTTPS. I would force that secure socket layer method of installing your WordPress. It's not a huge deal if you don't, but in our case, we're going to. And then what we're going to do is there's our domain name. You can't change that. It's just going to take it. All right. This is what I wanted to kind of get you explain a little bit. Right here, you're going to get this: a trusted SSL certificate was not found. Because we're using the InfinityFree subdomain. All right, we're using the great-site.net subdomain. The SSL is going to be there. The back end of InfinityFree just hasn't been updated, and so we're getting this kind of warning signal here, warning sign. If we were using our own custom domain, we would need to go and install the free certificate, or if our domain provider, if our domain name registrar provided an SSL, then we'd be okay. But and then we'd have to do everything to make sure that this is covered. But we are covered here. All right. You don't have to do anything special. Don't worry about this warning that's popped up here. Okay. Don't need to worry about it. In directory, leave that blank. Not going to worry about it. You could change it if you had a website already and you were setting up a blog. Then you could put something like blog. Okay, and see how the installation URL now shows blog. So in our case, we want to actually go straight to great-site.net. Say that 10 times fast. All right. Now, this version, again, leave that as default as well. This is the latest and greatest, and we want the latest and greatest. All right, so leave that as default. When we scroll down and we see site settings, if you leave this as my blog, that's what's going to show up here in your tab. All right. It's going to be terrible for your visitors. They're going to look at that and go, what? My blog? It's just not very descriptive. It's going to be terrible for SEO. And you want to change this. All right. And for us, we're going to say the Tech Gremlin Warrior. Same thing here for the site description. This is what's going to show up in search results when someone searches for a site, and it shows up in the search results. All right. So you want this to be descriptive, and you don't want it to be general like we just saw. All right. So the Tech Gremlin Warrior, get help with all of your issues that come up when the tech gremlins come out to play. Okay. Now, enable multi-site. If you were going to have multiple WordPress sites under this installation, this is what you would want to enable. It's going to make things a lot more complicated, and You're not going to need it. This is just one site, so don't worry about that. Disable WordPress cron. Okay. Not really sure if that's how you pronounce it or not. I'm going to guess it is. Don't mess with this either. All right. If you're going to disable this, it would be because you have your own cron, if you will, that you're going to, a custom one, that you're going to install and configure. And again, it's a whole nother can of worms. So both of these, we're going to leave default unchecked. Over here on admin account. Now, when you go and log into a WordPress website, it's typically going to be something like techgremlinwarrior.great-site.net/WP admin. And there's going to be a username and a password to log into that dashboard for your WordPress site. Okay. That's what we're setting up here. Now the default is just admin. You don't want default. All right. So create some kind of a username. In this case, we could do anything. All right. Ho-yo, mo-yo. All right. Ho-yo, mo-yo. 1935. Oh, 1835. And I'm going to leave it at that. All right. Now, because this is going to be used to log into your WordPress backend, you do want to put this into your password keeper. All right. So make a note of this, put it in your password keeper, make a note of your admin password here. Now, if you wanted to, you could change this also. This is just something that was auto-generated. All right. And so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this into my password keeper, or, put a username in there. Right. And I'm going to put my username into a password keeper, and then I'm going to actually use my password keeper and have it generate a password because it's going to be a lot more strong. All right. So we're going to do that now. Okay, the admin email that they pulled up is going to be what we logged or what we signed up for, and that you just leave alone. I wouldn't mess with that. You could change it if you wanted to, but in our case, that's perfect. English is my language, so I'm going to keep it as English. Now, next thing I'm going to do is advanced options. Right here, what we want to do, we want to click on these advanced options. The reason being, if you get to a point where you have multiple WordPress sites, if you got to the point and you're using the same web host for all these WordPress sites, if you ever need to get into a database, if you don't have this renamed, it's going to be a nightmare. And it's also a security kind of glitch, if you will, or it's a security flaw to keep it as WP, because this is just kind of a default database name. All of them start with WP by default. And you want to change that because scripts know that, or the attackers know that, and they're going to target that WP. So you can change it to whatever you want. It can't be long though. So in our case, we're just going to call it TGW. And I think that's going to be fine. Now, this we can't change. That's just automatic. And then here, table prefix. In this case, InfinityFree has done their part. This is normally also WP. And InfinityFree has given this a random thing. And this is okay. You can keep that the way it is. That's not a problem to keep this prefix if you want. In our case, let's just also do TGW. And make the table prefix the same. Not a big deal. Now, we have a couple of checkboxes here. Over here, we have auto upgrade WordPress plugins and auto upgrade WordPress themes. Best practice is to have both of these checked. I'm going to give you my real world experience though with this. In the past, when I've upgraded plugins, WordPress is broke. And so before you do a upgrade of a plugin, you always want to make sure that you do a backup. And because of that, I don't like to auto upgrade WordPress plugins because I need to make sure that I'm doing a backup before I do an update or an upgrade. So I don't recommend this auto upgrade WordPress plugins. You can, but I really do think that you're playing with fire. Maybe WordPress is a lot more robust now. I don't know. I'm talking within the last year, I've had problems where I've updated plugins and WordPress was broke. WordPress themes, not a big deal. There are some gotchas there with upgrading themes, but if you're doing, again, best practices, using a child theme, if you upgrade your main theme, and again, this is for another video, but if you upgrade your main theme and you have a child theme, everything's going to be fine. If you don't have a child theme and you're making changes to your theme and you do an upgrade, all those custom changes that you made, poof, gone. So the best practice if you're doing customization of your themes is to use a child theme. And because of that, this auto upgrade's fine. So we're gonna check that. This auto upgrade of the table prefix option, again, this could cause some issues if you're going to do an upgrade to any latest version, major as well as minor. This radio button right here, that could cause issues. I would recommend either do not upgrade or upgrade to minor versions only. And we're going to do that. Select a theme. When you install WordPress, it's automatically going to install a theme for you. So selecting a theme is not a big deal. And here, let's expand it so you can see you have all these different themes. The default that's going to be installed automatically is going to be this 2025. All right. Don't need to worry about it because the default's going to be installed. So we're done. We're just going to click on install. It's going to take just a matter of seconds and then it's going to be done just like that. Okay. I don't know. How long was that? 20, 30 seconds. And right now it's saying WordPress has been successfully installed at https://taggremlinwarrior.great-site.net. Now, again, I told you about the login for the backend. There's the backend login. I'm going to hit Control just in case, and it's going to open up in a new tab. And then I'm going to also go over here, and we're going to open it up. Now, remember when we had that little warning sign that said an SSL certificate couldn't be found? If we click on this right now, if that wasn't an actual issue, this wouldn't work. Now see also, when we go over this tab, look at the tab up there. It says the Tech Gremlin Warrior. That's where that site name was. If I had left that at the default at my blog, this would be saying my blog. All right. So we're in it right now. This is this WordPress. All right. It's not real pretty right now. It's got a sample blog post, but WordPress is now installed. And again, if we go up here and click on this, our HTTPS, this is a secure site. If the SSL certificate was giving us issues, we would have gotten all kinds of errors when we tried to open this. Everything's fine. Okay. So again, no need to worry about that SSL certificate. It's automatically installed when you're using a subdomain. Again, the subdomain, this great-site.net, that's a subdomain. We're using one of InfinityFree's subdomains. SSL's covered. All right. Dashboard, we're automatically already in. Okay. It logged us into our dashboard automatically. If it didn't, we would have a username and password, and that's where that admin username and password would go. Okay. And now we're set. How cool is that, everybody? We have now installed WordPress completely free using InfinityFree. Again, it does have some limitations. Its resources are limited. Sometimes it's slow. Again, wouldn't recommend it for a business site. Maybe if you're just getting started and need something really, really basic, it's okay. But again, it's probably going to be something that you're only going to use temporarily. But if you're wanting to learn WordPress and You'd like to be able to have plugins and themes and have a fully functional WordPress site? Boom. We just did that. So that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're really enjoying these videos, subscribe to the channel. Have an awesome day.